This video is sponsored by Tech21. I didn't expect to have to try this hard. I came to New York City specifically to go hands-on with the new iPhone. I've now gotten to try all three of them. I've shot endless sample photos with their new wide-angle cameras, which I've been badgering Apple to include for 3 years. The phones have slipped back into my pockets with a resounding thud, testament to another answered prayer. Stop making your phones thinner, we said. We don't need thinner phones, we need better battery life. Well, wish granted. These are thicker, heavier, and they promise to last longer. And most surprising of all to me, the price point is $50 lower than last year. In short, Apple has given us everything we've asked for. So why, as I walk the streets with my friends Rene and Hayato with a brand new smartphone on its very release day, why is it so hard for me to care? I have a theory about that, but I'll save the navel-gazing for the end because right now I want to tell you about the phone you came here to see. You've probably heard that the iPhone 11 is split into two categories, one of which has a Pro at the end of it and comes in two sizes. How do you tell them apart? Well, the colors are different, the display bezels are thinner on the Pro, and the Pro also packs many more pixels per inch on a more saturated, higher contrast display. But the main difference is this electric razor, fidget spinner, Journeyman Project Turbo logo, however you want to make fun of it, it's the camera module. And look, while it does look goofy in pictures, the triple lens on the iPhone 11 Pro is actually okay in person. And really, what matters is the camera's output, right? The iPhone 11 and 11 Pro each pack the same two base cameras, a 12-megapixel primary and a matching 12-megapixel sensor behind an ultra-wide 120-degree lens. Many Android phones have had similar arrangements, but almost always, the differences in either sensors or lenses or both have meant that the colors vary significantly between wide and ultra-wide. The iPhone 11 hasn't totally solved for this. The smaller aperture on the ultra-wide means it can't let as much light in, so it does suffer in the dark. But the color matching across cameras has never been better than it is on this phone. That applies to the third camera on the 11 Pro as well, another 12-megapixel sensor mated to a telephoto lens for long shots. I'm disappointed Apple stuck to just 2x magnification here, while the competition is outdoing 3x and even 5x optical zoom. But you forget all about that when you try Apple's new night mode. First it was Huawei, then Google, then technically Samsung, but the point is, Apple has finally put some work into photos taken after dark, and the results early on are hugely promising. Dimmer but more authentic than Huawei, better in all respects than Samsung, and going blow for blow with Google. That's truly astounding. After a year of falling over myself saying how great the Pixel 3's night sight is, because it is, but Apple, it seems, has caught up. I'm going to talk a lot more about these cameras in the review, so let me wrap up with a word on selfies and a word on portraits. We finally have a wider front-facing camera on the iPhone. Not as wide as the Pixel 3 can go, it maxes out at 85 degrees, but it does compare favorably against the Galaxy Note 10 Plus in terms of quality. Look how much more there is to the picture. Watch out. Also, I'm a big pumpkin man over there, and I'm my real self over there. Video, the iPhone does it better. No new lessons were learned. And over in portrait land, the iPhone continues to just kill it when it comes to color science. The Pixel has the edge in edge detection, and Samsung does do good work too, but in terms of colors and the quality of the bokeh, Apple usually wins. It's just a shame that in 2019, nearly 6 years after HTC first made portrait photos a thing, screwing up these photos is as easy as having glasses, or, hair. What else is new? Well, Apple is finally shipping a fast charger in the box, at least relatively fast at 18 watts, and only if you buy the Pro. Face ID is said to be 30% faster and capable of working at a wider range of angles, but in my brief testing against an older version of iOS, that improvement wasn't consistent either on the table or in the hand. And 3D Touch is gone now, which makes me sad because it was one of the first truly new ways to use a touchscreen. The other stuff, the longer-lasting batteries, the spatial audio, I need time to test it. And yes, I'm getting ready to wrap up, but don't go anywhere because we still have to talk about my pesky disillusionment. Right now, though, in the midst of a hectic day one, it's all I can do to remember that the 11 has glossy glass, while the 11 Pros is frosty glass. And that glass may be the strongest ever, but I wasn't willing to test that claim on some of the first iPhone 11s to hit the street. So to protect yours, in case it literally hits the street, check out the new cases from my sponsor, Tech21. What makes them new? How about antimicrobial protection built into the material itself so it's 99.99% microbe-free? Or the fact that the cases are more sustainable now, created from plant-based materials. And of course, Tech21 cases are still grown to be thrown, with the best drop protection you can ask for. Keep your iPhone 11 safe and save 10%. Click the link in the description below and use code MrMobile10. Now, here's why getting excited for this iPhone this time around has been tougher for me. I look back to how jazzed I was about the iPhone X a couple years back, and it's because so much was new, from the gestures to the hardware, even the notch. It's natural for Apple to have a so-called S year, but that was last year. I think I just expected more. On top of that, and this is more important, the new software, iOS 13.1, still won't be here for another week. And that will enable a lot of features no one's been able to try yet, like the U1 chip inside this thing, and Deep Fusion for even better photos. So it's kind of hard to evaluate this phone on the merits while it's still waiting for half its brain to get delivered, you know? Maybe most of all, I still believe we're on the brink of a sea change in mobile, with foldable phones just on the cusp of release. And while I know it's so early for those, and really no one should buy them yet probably, they're always on my mind when I'm testing out the latest plain old rectangle. I'm just eager for the next step, I guess. That said, if there is a rectangle you buy this year, and there probably will be, these should be near the top of your list for consideration. And if you want a lot more photo samples and insights than I was able to get into here, hit up Rene Ritchie's videos at Vector, and also Hayato Huseman's face-off between the iPhone 11 and the Galaxy Note 10 Plus at Android Central. I'll link them both below. Thanks to both of those gentlemen for all their help putting this video together, and for the record, Mobile Nation's purchased both of my review iPhones from Apple. They are retail units. And no copy approval or compensation provided either, of course. If that's the kind of tech video you'd like to see more of, please subscribe to the Mr. Mobile on YouTube, and stay tuned for that review coming soon. Until next time, thanks for watching, and stay mobile, my friends.